Hi there, I'm Jacob and welcome to Deep Dive MTG. We're back at it again, talking about Edge of Eternities. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about a new mono-green Leviathan that was in the leaks, and at the time I expressed my sadness that yet again Runo Stromkirk would see a Leviathan that he can't use. And I demanded justice for my boy, and I'm happy to report I did not have to wait long. So to all my fellow sea creature enjoyers, allow me to introduce our newest weapon in the arsenal, Starwinder. And yes, I'm aware that a giant cosmic snake that eats galaxies isn't exactly nautical, but you can't tell me that deep space and deep sea don't have similar vibes. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. This 7-mana 7/7 has a fair, simple effect. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. Now, that effect on a 7/7 body is powerful enough to warrant 7 mana, but it gets even better. This creature also has the keyword Warp. This is the new mechanic introduced in Edge of Eternities that says you may cast this card from your hand using its Warp cost, but you exile this creature at the beginning of the next end step. You may then cast it from exile on a later turn. It's sort of similar to Adventure, but instead of giving you an alternate spell, you can cast the same one just for a little cheaper, and it's not exactly permanent. It's not hard to see how a generic value engine creature like this slots into pretty much any deck you'd want to put him into. But I want to briefly go over how this card can slot into the current main 3 sea creature commanders. Let's start off with the simplest, Kinesos. Kinesos' main and only advantage when it comes to running this card, aside from it just being a sea creature, is the fact that you can use his ability to almost flash it in on your end step, so your opponents have less of a chance to react to you swinging with it. And when it comes to Kiora, she actually benefits, I would say, the most with its new ability Warp. You're able to cast this spell for 4 mana using its Warp ability, but Kiora's ability will see it as a 7 mana spell, letting her ability give you a little bit more bang for your buck. And then we have Runo. Ideally, when you use this card when you're playing Runo, Runo will have flipped by then into Crothis, which will be a 3/5 flying body. So you use 4 mana to cast this spell, swing with Crothis, get him to hit somebody for 3, and then draw 3 cards. If you have the ideal setup, you'll be able to give the warped creature haste and make copies of it using Crothis' ability. If you somehow manage to pull that off, you're going to be drawing at minimum 9 cards if at least one person doesn't have a flying blocker. But if you find yourself in the godlike scenario where you are able to swing with this warped creature, make 2 copies of it, and then there's some poor sucker who has no blocks, you will draw
72 cards from your library.
So in the ideal scenario, you are drawing an insane amount of cards, making 2 7/7 copies that will not leave at the end of turn, unlike the warped creature. And on top of all that, this is a May ability, so you won't end up decking yourself out. So yeah, this card is a house. Okay, before we finish up, let me just take 1 second to mention how this card's artwork is fantastic. And we are blessed with this set to have 2 alternative printings for this card, both of which go just as hard. Although I personally am partial to the original art. Either way though, if I pull any printing of this card, I'm gonna be happy in pre-release. Alright, I think that's about it. If you want to hear me yap more about Magic the Gathering, Subnautica, or pretty much anything else, then subscribe.